Yes, guys, I'm Sai. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation. Welcome to Cardiff City World, presented by Ace Podcast Nation. Here for a quick one today. So normally this video, which is 5 things we learned about Cardiff from their most recent game, obviously Watford yesterday, would be a pre-recorded video. However, I decided, seeing as it's the first night of doing it, the second day of doing the channel, why not do a quick live? It's only going to be 20 minutes. It's effectively going to be the same video, but it's going to be that video done live. There we go. What I'm used to doing is these live videos, so I'm happy to do so. But we are going to keep it short and sweet, to the point, exactly like a recorded video. Just as we wait for some people to join and stuff like that, I will do a couple of plugs. Please like, share, subscribe. Cardiff City World, brand new project, 7 days a week, Cardiff City content, nothing but Cardiff City content. We've got podcasts, we've got shows, we've got interviews with ex-players, we've got live events, we've got vlogs, analysis, post-match shows, just previews. There's just so much, just constant Cardiff City content. So if you're a City fan, this is the place for you to be. This is the best place to get your content, the news, everything. Of course, over on Ace Podcast Nation, we regularly have Cardiff City ex-players. We've had the Cardiff City chairman on multiple times. This is the place to be, but it's not just going to be myself. Obviously, Rob and Matt yesterday did the post show, the Flower Hour post show, as it were. They'll be back Wednesday for the Cardiff City World Pod, which is normally me. However, I've got a day of recording with, among other things, Anthony Rivers, Cardiff City fan, about his new book. I'm also doing some other recording that day, so I'm going to be struggling to get back in time. So Matthew and Rob are stepping in for me for the Cardiff City World Pod on Wednesday. I will be coming in a bit later on in that show, and I'll have a giveaway. I'll be giving away some prizes. So you've got to answer the questions, though. As well as tomorrow night, we have the Cardiff City phone-in. Been going 20 years in various formats and platforms, the radio, obviously, and different places. Be live on Cardiff City World Mondays, 6 p.m. that one. And it's going to be a great one. I'm on there as well tomorrow night, and I believe they've got a giveaway as well. Tuesday will probably be, I've decided I'm going to re-show Super Kev Unscripted on Ace Podcast Nation. I did 2 seasons of podcasts with Kev. They weren't really like on a lot of stuff which was going on then and there. It was like all-time Wales 11s, all-time Cardiff 11s, just stuff like that. Just having a laugh, unscripted, fun. And me and Kev got on really well, so it was good. That's going to be re-showing every Tuesday. We've got vlogs, as I say. We've got other stuff. Thursday will be part 1 of the Michael Chopra live event that we did before Christmas, which is basically like the podcast part. And then the following Thursday will be the second part, which is the question and answer, where the guests and people in the pub got to ask Chops questions. Friday then will be the Preston Cardiff City preview. And of course, Saturday will be the match reaction. We're hoping to add in some other content. So if you, as a City fan, want to get involved in this project, then get in touch. There's loads to do. There's loads of different things you can do. I'd like to get someone doing everything I hate about football, like weekly ranting, bit jovial and stuff. I think that could be quite cool. We're looking for someone to do like 5-minute daily news videos, all sorts of stuff to do. Get involved. Let's make this. Let's make it like a massive thing. Like Cardiff City having a fan channel is well overdue. So let's do it. Let's do it together for the fans, by the fans. But anyway, 5 things that we learned about Cardiff City versus Watford. Obviously, Cardiff picked up a great win, first and foremost. So my number one, what's the word? My number one things that we learned. Number 1, the manager needed competition for places. Competition for places provided by getting some players out and getting some players in. I think the players who were brought in have improved the squad without doubt, and actually will in time improve the starting 11. Obviously, there wasn't a great deal of time for him to train with the team, so I understand him sticking with the team, sticking with the tried and tested, if you like, or the players he's had there this season. I know people were disappointed. However, you have to be realistic. Those players, some of them had less than 24 hours really with the squad, maybe not even that. So, they were never going to start. That'll come, and it'll come quick. But the thing which I take the most positive from with that is Alnwick, Blinder, Wintle, who's taken a lot of flack this year. Some of it fair, some of it probably not. He stepped up to the plate, and he had a real good game, because he knows he's under pressure. Like Turnbull's there, Turnbull offers the same that he does, but more. So that was massive for me. I thought the only one who really probably didn't take their opportunity to stake a claim for a first team place was probably Atete. Bit disappointing that he couldn't, because he did show glimpses earlier in the season, but not good enough, unfortunately. I would have liked to have seen him going out alone, I've got to be honest, but he didn't, and he's all right off the bench as a backup. But I had expected Day to be coming in next Saturday. Who else stepped up? I thought Guinness and Gutas, McGuinness, Collins, the back four overall, I thought they all were pretty good, but I thought Jamalu Collins deserves a special shout out. Came back from a long-term injury, started a bit slow, then really found his groove, was playing well, and then just before this sort of little winter break, he struggled a little bit and he looked exhausted. I thought he looked refreshed yesterday, and I thought he had a real good game. Siopis, another one, looked good. And Josh Bowler, I've been quite critical of Josh Bowler in recent times. He did something special. He stepped up. I thought his attitude to work rate was good. So that was number one. Number two, Ruben Colwill is starting to shine. Who'd have thought that if you can play him and keep him on and give him time and keep playing him, he'll produce? And who'd have thought that if you give the ball to him in the right areas, he's dangerous? Yes, maybe sometimes I think he holds it on to it too long, or he tries to do something a bit over exuberant, or tries to beat that extra man. I think that will come, one, with age, two, with maturity, but also with having reliable attacking players around you. So often this year he's been let down by the wingers being too narrow and it all getting a bit congested, or the midfielders not being capable of getting him the ball in the right areas, and he just drops deeper and deeper and deeper. And then if he does get the ball in the right areas, there's no movement in front of him. I thought he did very, really, really well last night, or yesterday afternoon. I thought he moved the ball well. He showed a good turn of pace. And the thing I really like about him is, regardless of whether he personally is playing well or not, is he works and works and works. And I thought it was quite telling. Now, I'm not sure if Robinson's got an injury or a knock, but as far as I know, he doesn't. But I might be wrong with that. I thought it was quite telling that Robinson wasn't in the squad at all. So that's kind of interesting to me. Ramsey obviously on the bench. Look, we know Ramsey's going to come in. Depending on the system the manager plays, even though I think Colwill does his best work in the middle, I wouldn't be surprised to see him put out wide, because I think when you look at the attacking players, I think he's done more than most to keep his place. And I think that there's a chance that he might play off the left or right. A chance, particularly if they were to move Grant up to a more central position, depending on the system again, then I think Colwill's in with a shout. But either way, we know Ramsey's not going to play every game. We know Ramsey's not going to play full games all the time. So there's plenty of minutes there for Colwill. As long as, for me, what I want to see, lastly on Colwill, I want to see every time Ramsey is not on the pitch, whether that's being subbed off or rotated or injured, I want to see Colwill is the number 10, second in command to Ramsey in that position. Number 3, the goalkeeping situation. So earlier this season, Errol Ballou, who I'm a massive, massive fan of, and I think he's the right man to take the club forward. I think he's the right man to solidify Cardiff City as a top championship club, maybe even take us up over the next 2 or 3 years if he's given the correct backing. He has made mistakes, and just because I want him to remain manager doesn't mean he's devoid of criticism. one of the biggest criticisms I think we can have of him this year is he created a situation earlier in the season by trying to shoehorn Runnison in when Alnwick was on fire. And not just Alnwick, because he did make a mistake, arguably, against Norwich, which is around the time he got rotated or dropped. What Alnwick, by removing Alnwick, did is it unsettled the back four, the back five. They all of a sudden looked nervy. You saw mistakes slipping in. Now, this is a really interesting one for me. So in my preview, I put in Howverth as the goalkeeper because I do think he's an excellent Championship goalkeeper and he's a unit. He is a big boy who does a lot of good things and he's a very good Championship goalkeeper. And the thing, I think, skill set wise, in terms of his shot stopping, the ball at his feet, pretty similar standard to Alnwick. But what he does have over Alnwick is he dominates his area. He's a big lad. He comes crosses. He's quick off his line. And I think he's a bit better than Alnwick at that. So it'll be interesting how the manager manages this because Alnwick stepped up yesterday and second half particularly was outstanding. Really kept Cardiff City in the game. So it will be interesting when Howverth's visa and stuff comes through. Will he drop Alnwick straight away? Will Alnwick, because he obviously, there's something there about Alnwick which he doesn't like. So will he rotate him out? Will he drop him straight away? It's very, very interesting to me because I'm not sure. But it's good for competition for places. I just hope that if they bring in Howverth, it doesn't unsettle the back four again. And obviously you've got Phillips to come in the back four as well. I forgot what number I was on. I think we're on number 4. Number 4, Ryan Wintle. Ryan Wintle is an enigma this season. I'm a big fan of him. He does a lot of work off the ball. And generally speaking, I think it was kind of well agreed between the fan base, the manager, everyone. And Rawls and Wintle as a two was not it at all. But we've also found that alongside Siopis, you almost need a mix of Rawls and Wintle. One or the other doesn't quite give you the attributes needed to get the best out of the team, the best out of everyone. And I'm sure there was a few people who thought, including myself, that Turnbull might be put straight into the starting 11 yesterday because we've so desperately needed that central midfielder. And what I found interesting is he put Wintle in there. He backed him. He backed all of these players. He backed them and he said, go and show me why this new signing that I've got, this shiny new toy that I've got, go and show me why he shouldn't play. Go and show me why I should keep him on the bench. And Ryan Wintle stepped up. His work rate was outstanding. He didn't really put much of a foot wrong. I thought he helped Siopis out when he could. Look, Wintle hasn't got the attacking tools and attributes to really complement Siopis, I think, as much as Turnbull will eventually. But he can only do what he can do. And I thought he had a very good game last night. And as I mentioned at the start of the show, competition for places is vital, absolutely vital if Cardiff are going to kick on, whether that's the end of this season or even next season. You have to have competition for places. You can't have players just assuming they're going to play every week because psychologically they ease off, they take a foot off the pedal, they don't do things properly, and that's when mistakes happen. Wintle stepped up yesterday. Do I think he'll start against Preston? No, I don't. But he couldn't have done any more. Thought he worked hard. His passing was pretty good. He even progressed a few balls into Colwill, which was nice to see. And then number 5 is the final thing I want to talk about. And the reason I've left this one till last is because I've been very vocal in recent weeks, probably the last month, maybe 2 months, about certain players' attitudes, particularly when things get tough, particularly when things aren't going well or the team's not playing well. I've been very critical of players, and I do try not to single out individuals, but over that time, I've mentioned Bowler, I've mentioned Robinson. I think I might have mentioned Wintle at one point. I think that was Sheffield Wednesday game. And a few others who've had a bad attitude. Now, Josh Bowler, before his injury, I thought he looked sharp and direct and dangerous and skillful. And I was thinking, God, why why on earth has he been allowed to go out on loan? He's a real player. Like, he could do some damage in the Championship. Now, and of course, I know he's an inverted winger, and that's how he plays. He plays off the right, cuts in off the left. Would I love to see him on the left and beat a man and put some crosses in? Yes, I would. I really would. I think that could be a real throwback to a traditional winger, which could do some great things for Cardiff. But that's not his game. He plays off the right. He cuts in. What I liked about yesterday is, all right, he wasn't the perfect professional. There was still a bit of moaning there and arm waving, but his work rate was second to none. He worked up and down and up and down and up and down. And of course, he scores an absolute worldie. And I think that's why you saw him play 75 minutes or 73 minutes, because he was absolutely superb. And credit's got to be given. Look, I can question his attitude, his body language, the rest of it, but you couldn't question those things yesterday. Maybe his body language a little bit, but his work rate was there. He worked for his teammates. He tried to protect NG, which is sometimes has left NG a bit exposed when he's not so keen to get back. And the goal he scored is an absolute beauty. Beats two men, cuts inside, top bins. Have some of that. No keeper in the world is saving that. And that's what he's got in his locker. And I think this is one of the things which really frustrates myself, and I'm sure many others. People like Bowler, Atete as well. Like, we've seen some of the finishing which Atete's got in his locker in, close quarters with players around him. He's got the skill and ability to do special things. Just doesn't do it enough. Doesn't do it consistently enough. And it feels, with Atete, feels a psychological, like a confidence thing. He's not very physically strong, or he's not very brave. Whereas Bowler absolutely has all the tools to be a top level, like a top Championship winger, and be a Chris Burke of years gone by at Cardiff, beating the man, exciting, working hard. Like, he's got all the attributes to do that. And like I mentioned, I would much prefer, I'd love to see him on the left. I really would. But he has all those attributes in his bag of tricks. He's got skills, he's got pace, he's got a low center of gravity, he can drop a shoulder, he can beat a man. And I want to see it from him. I want to see him be direct. But most importantly, I would like to, if he's going to cut in, I want to see him start higher and wider. So when we win possession, I want him to be really, really hugging that touchline. So he gets it in space. He can run at the fullback. If he cuts inside, it creates a space for NG or Colwill or whoever to run in behind. If he starts too narrow, he's got nowhere to go. It gets congested. The move breaks down, and then he's got to work back further. Whereas if he starts higher and wider, there's less likelihood that he's got to work back and the rest of it. So I think what we learned even more so with Bowler again is that he has everything you need to be a top Championship winger. Does he have the mentality to do it now? And I really would like him, if he could step up now between now and the end of the season and show the right attitude and the right work rate, and also tactically be a bit cleverer in terms of how he goes about his business, I wouldn't be against signing him permanently, which is probably quite surprising to some because of how critical I've been of him. But the reason I've been so critical of him is because I know and I can see what he's capable of. And I think that when a player is so very clearly capable of special things, as we saw yesterday, it becomes very frustrating when they don't apply themselves to produce those special things on a consistent basis. Now, I'm not saying that I expect him to score goals like yesterday every single week. What I expect from him is a good attitude, a work rate, and an attitude where he's not moaning at his teammates to do this, that, and the other, and he's getting stuck in, and he's working for the football club, he's working for the badge, he's working for those fans who've travelled everywhere. And I did see that yesterday, and I want to see it week in, week out. Show me that week in, week out, and I think he would be a cracking sign-in on a permanent basis. He can be what Chris Burke was for us many moons ago. That's my 5 things. What did you learn about Cardiff City versus Watford? And also, did I miss anything? Do you disagree with anything which I said? Like, I'm interested in your views. Remember, this is a Cardiff City fan channel, so we want your views, whether it's in the comments, on the shows. If you want to get involved, come get involved. It'd be great to have you. Like I said earlier on, we've got many, many more things to do. We've got so much content coming. Cardiff City 7 days a week on this channel. So if you want to get involved, come on down to Cardiff City World. Come and get involved. We've got all sorts of things coming up. A couple of giveaways this week on the phone in tomorrow and on Wednesday for the Cardiff City World pod. Please do get involved. Please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Please spread the word. Tell the Cardiff City fans in your life that there's a new Cardiff City channel made by the same people behind Ace Podcast Nation, which is a Cardiff-based podcast channel, YouTube channel, which has had a lot of ex-players and stuff like that. Had the pleasure of speaking to some great people from the club, past and present, and then we're going to keep doing our thing. It's just all the Cardiff City content that we produce is going to be in the same place, and then around that content is going to be other fans' content complementing it. It's going to be special, and as we build it up and we get bigger, it's going to be real special time. So get involved, because we want you now at the start so that we can all build it together. Ace Podcast Nation will be running as normal. Shows, podcasts, channels, Rhodri Giggs and football, all that good stuff. If you'd like to become a member of Ace Podcast Nation, patreon.com/Ace Podcast Nation, price of a coffee or a bag of chips per month, and you get all sorts of things. You get behind the scenes content, you get membership shows. Most importantly, you get 24 hours early access to tickets for live events. Next live event, 10th of May, with cult hero Willie Boland, City Legend event. We've done Chopra, we've done Pearce, we've done Campbell. Next is Willie Boland in the Rose and Crown in Pontypridd. It's going to be an absolute belter. Tickets are just £10. Get in contact with Snowy from the Rose and Crown. Emails all over my social media. I haven't got it on screen now, but I will put it on screen later on. I'll put it in the comments as well. Get involved. Come see us. It's going to be an amazing night. I cannot wait. It's going to be a cracker. We'll also be announcing some more City Legend events soon with some very, very interesting guests. It's going to be a belter. Phone in Monday. Super Kevin scripted Tuesday. Cardiff City World Pod Wednesday. Michael Chopra Part 1 Thursday. Cardiff Preston Preview Friday. The Flower Hour Max Reaction Show 1 hour after kickoff Saturday. And then we'll be back next Sunday with 5 things we learned about Cardiff versus Preston next week. And we'll do it all again. There'll also be vlogs, interviews, all sorts of clips and things going up. If you'd like to get involved, please do send us a DM or an email. Get involved. It's going to be special. Until then, I bid you a farewell. Take care. God bless.